Tabloid Tuesday with Chris Wilkinson. We've got the Derby Telegraph in front of us, and the headline is "Muggers targeting pensioners in the city centre." Police are linking 3 street robberies on elderly people in Derby city centre. On Saturday morning, an 80-year-old man was taken to hospital after being robbed of his wallet by 2 youths in Phoenix Street. Chris.
I don't really know how someone could get injured by being robbed unless there was a physical assault somehow associated with it. It doesn't specifically say exactly what sort of physical effects this man had, just that the police are linking 3 street robberies. I mean, that couldn't be any less specific, could it?
Well, maybe the police don't have all the details or aren't at liberty to disclose all the details.
In which case, why was this story put on the front page of the Derby Telegraph dated 6th of January 2020? I don't even know what fucking decade we're in.
Well, maybe it's just out of public interest. People should be aware that crime is perhaps on the rise.
Yeah, but that's a falsehood, isn't it? I mean, crime is only on the rise in certain areas of the country, as indeed it has been for about 3 years now.
Are you saying that crime is crime?
Well, I think crime statistics have the potential to be easily manipulated.
To either drum up fear or to calm people down.
That is precisely the point, yes.
Okay, so page 2. Man exposed himself in newsagents. A 20-year-old Derby man exposed himself in a city newsagents on the street where he lives. South Derbyshire Magistrates Court heard how Christian Compass carried out the act at Akbar and Sons in Rosehill Street, Normanton on October the 18th, and he's been arrested and charged since.
Right, to be honest, it doesn't specifically say why he did it, but I must say...
Is that what you're mostly interested in?
Yeah, because obviously the effects of him exposing himself have been pretty severe. If you actually read on, it says Compass was handed a 12-month community order with 30 rehabilitation sessions with a probation service. He was also fined £400 and has been made to sign the sex offenders register for a one-off incident that may have temporarily spooked a shop owner. But to be honest, I think it doesn't really warrant all that punishment for something so relatively, I mean, dare I say innocent, but like fairly innocuous.
Well, as innocent as Adam and Eve anyway. What I want to know is how he was actually found out and charged, because for someone to expose himself sexually and then be convicted by the police, that would have meant he would have to have stood in the newsagents naked for at least 20 minutes before the police arrived to actually arrest him.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, what were the shoplifters doing for 20 minutes while this naked man stood in the shop?
One could only speculate what they were doing. I mean, several things obviously can come to mind, and that's...
What was Mr. Akbar doing?
To be honest, the shopkeeper was technically being a bit of a paedophile then.
Why was he a paedophile?
Because he's staring at a naked man in his shop.
But he's not a child. Christian is... The guy who got nude is 20 years...
Yeah, but how old's the man?
Well, we don't know how old Mr. Akbar is.
Yeah, but we need to know this information because, to be honest, it could have been a 50 or 60-year-old looking at a 20-year-old guy. That's a bit perverted, I think.
So if you were in a gay relationship with a 50-year-old man, you would consider him to be a paedophile?
Well, no, because there's no evidence.
Oh.
No, because there's no evidence to suggest that the shopkeeper and the 20-year-old Slovakian or whatever he is.
You just made that up completely.
Yeah, well.
That name looks Greek to me.
No, Slovakian.
Oh, it's Slovakian.
Because it is Slovakian.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So it's Slovakian. There's no evidence to suggest that they are in a relationship. Therefore, there is no concept of consent. Obviously, what this man has done is clearly very stupid, but it doesn't really warrant the punishment, and secondly, it doesn't warrant the shopkeeper staring at his lonesome penis.
Who on earth is playing their bagpipes on Christmas morning? It's your long-lost nephew, of course. A Derbyshire man had the Christmas Day surprise of his life when he unexpectedly met his Canadian half-nephew for the first time when he showed up at his front door playing the bagpipes.
I think that is very late, because Christmas has
And what time did it say?
Christmas has occurred. It says playing the bagpipes on Christmas morning, but Christmas was 2 weeks ago.
Well, I think it's because the villagers found out about it as a story.
That's about as stupid as starting Christmas sales in August.
Well, anyway, go on. Yeah, what are your thoughts?
To be perfectly honest, I mean, this seems like a bit of a stupid filler story, because
Well, they perhaps couldn't run during the actual period of Christmas because they had other things to print.
Well, yeah, it sounds as though it's like a leftover from December, the end of December.
What do you think about someone turning up at your door that you don't know playing bagpipes? Because at this point he doesn't know, and he's a half nephew from Canada. It's hardly a brother or a father or something.
To be perfectly honest, that's not the preferred way in which I'd choose to introduce myself to somebody.
Would you prefer to do what Christian did and get naked?
No, because to be honest, I mean it's a half nephew. To be honest, there's only one person.
I don't even know. It's so complicated what a half nephew is. The actual.
I don't know.
What relation is that? Who's not a blood relative?
Can you legally marry them? Is the question that I have. Right?
See, again, it comes back to sex with you again. About
I never said
can you legally have sex with your half nephew?
I never said anything about that.
In your opinion, is it incestuous?
What, to be playing bagpipes in front of you?
No. To have sex with a half nephew or half niece, I think it is.
But that's what I want to find out, because because to be honest, it does sound a bit. I don't know, what is a nephew? I mean, it's like it's not a niece. Like
if someone's my nephew, I'm their uncle, and if someone's my niece, I'm their uncle. If someone's your niece, you're their uncle.
So it's like so this man's older then. So it's Tom Russell.
The nephew playing the bagpipes is the younger of the two.
It says Tom Russell is 74, comes from Long Eaton, and began exploring his family tree after he retired in 2010. So it's the older guy knocking on the door of the younger guy.
All right, so you found the. All right, yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Still, it's weird.
That is a bit weird, yeah. Because it's bagpipes as well. That's Scottish. He's Canadian.
Well, maybe. I haven't actually got a reason for this. I can't even think of a devil's advocate way because we have other methods of communication called letters and speech that would more accurately communicate the fact that he's the nephew, half nephew.
Yeah, but surely from a legal perspective, he's just suddenly come round your house with no idea as to who he is, and has just knocked on his door and said, "Oh, well, actually, I'm your half uncle," or whatever like that. I mean, would you seriously believe that person? I don't think I would.
No, I think they were mental. I think if someone turns up with bagpipes late at night, I would think they were insane.
Yeah, but it's Christmas morning, so he could have got drunk.
Yeah, Christmas morning, so some idiot from Christmas Eve coming home.
So to be honest, this could have been anyone. It could have been someone who isn't very nice, someone who may attack the person on the other side of the door.
Okay, so jogger attacked.
Not very safe.
Not very safe.
Not very safe.
Okay. Jogger attacked in park at night. A jogger was attacked as she ran through a Derby park at night. Police say that the woman was assaulted on a path in Brunswood Recreation Ground in Spondon.
Without further context, I don't really know what to say about this.
Well, my suggestion was that if you're a jogger and someone is trying to attack you, you might just want to run away.
Considering that you can, of course.
Yeah, and you're wearing the equipment to do so.
But surely if you're jogging, you're moving at speed.
Yeah.
So therefore, logically, how can you get attacked? You just avoid.
If someone jumps out in front of you.
Yeah, but they would have to be moving to keep up with you.
If they're already in front of you, ran into them.
Just go around them. You're moving. Like, there's propulsion behind you, so to be honest, it doesn't really make any sense. Why would you go jogging at night?
I know.
That doesn't make any sense, because there's all sorts of stupid fitness fads and things like that. Veganism. And
it's not really a fitness fad.
Yeah, but people do.
Well, it is for their health. Yeah,
people do it for health reasons. Yeah, like health benefits. Why would you go jogging at night in an area which you know is potentially predatorial?
Especially as a woman. I mean, it's sad that it has to come to this, that a woman can't feel safe in a local park. But also,
I mean, who the hell is hiding in a bush trying to sort of wait and spring out on a woman?
Well, there was another thing behind the bush that I've just found out about, and it's something we've not talked about on this show before, is that the police tried to search for the attackers by drone.
That's just incompetence, isn't it?
Why not? But you can get an aerial view. It's cheaper than a helicopter, presumably.
To be honest, you need a drone flying licence. I don't know many police officers that actually have a drone flying licence.
Well, yeah, but surely they have one. Well, are you suggesting this is an extrajudicial method of tracking down the criminals, and if they are caught, they can't be prosecuted because they've been caught by means that
of a drone
have not been permitted and they don't have a licence to do so?
Well, to be honest, I just think there's better ways of doing it.
Well, like what?
Well, what's a drone going to do? It's not going to apprehend any criminal.
You know where they are. That's why we have reconnaissance. That's why we have reconnaissance missions in war.
But what good is that? I mean, like, if you know where somebody is, well, that's great. But you're not going to lock them up or like.
Yeah, but then they can, instead of doing that thing where they walk across a field in huge numbers to find the person, they'll be able to then just walk straight to the target.
And then what? They just
arrest him.
Yeah, but how?
Because they'd presumably have an infrared camera on the drone so they could find the guy. And there'll be a readout. There'll be a display on the controller or whatever it's called.
There's no police officer there to arrest the person who's committing the crime.
Well, they are, because they're operating a drone. Presumably, they'll take a couple more people.
No, but you can operate a drone from anywhere.
Yeah.
So
we're not that far away.
Yeah, but you don't even need to be in the direct area.
But it would, in this case, it would make sense to be nearer to the park, because they may apprehend the suspect quicker.
Well, yeah, that I agree with, but you know, it's just a bit. It's rather stupid, to be honest.
What about this? Warning of beggars going door to door. Police have received reports of beggars going door to door in a Derby suburb asking for cash. 2 people knocking on doors, reportedly on Reginald Road South and Waterford Drive in Chaddesden on Thursday evening. Is this not just being inventive?
Well, to be honest, charities go door to door, essentially begging for support. I know because
You've done it. You've done it.
Yeah, I've done it before. That was my occupation during summer 2018 and summer 2019. So, to be honest, it seems reasonable. If you're in a destitute situation, it seems reasonable to ask other people for help. It doesn't. Does it say specifically that they were begging for cash, or was it advice, or?
Yeah, cash.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe that's a bit bad, because there's obviously services available that can.
And I've just found something that you may be interested in. Apparently, these people have Irish accents. So, what group of people is this likely to be?
Gypsies. So.
I'm moving on. A breast cancer patient who complained to Marks and Spencer's about its mastectomy underwear was delighted to find out it is now changed its range. Denise,
what's that?
What's
that in the picture?
Well, it's the padding of a bra.
I thought it was a fake tit.
What? No, you moron.
Well,
I'm a fake tit.
Yeah, but I'm looking at it upside down.
You looked at it the other way around a minute ago.
I didn't.
Right, anyway, Denise Burrows from Normanton was diagnosed and and she's just annoyed that basically bras don't always imitate the natural shape of a boob that has a nipple on, because you get the sort of rounded bras and then you've got the ones that meet together and are sort of sewn, so they create a more natural sort of shape. that imitate the nipple, I suppose. So she's annoyed that they've got discriminatory.
They're without the nipple bit.
Without the nipples, or don't create that shape.
Yeah, but to be honest, I mean, that's just been rather picky, I think. Like, that is a bra filler, as I've been informed by you. Like, you can evidently see the picture more clearly than me. They're not.
So you didn't used to sniff your mum's bras?
No, unlike you. But like, you can't.
Oh, I'm Chris. I'm sniffing. Sorry, go on.
That's Damien on a Friday night.
I don't do drugs. I've never done drugs.
Oh, okay.
Carry on with the thing anyway. Yeah. She's being picky. She's being picky.
So yeah, she's been a bit picky
because this one shop.
Yeah, exactly. So what other shops has she gone to try and get a bra filler with a protruding nipple bit?
Well, it's not that. I don't think you go around underwear departments as much as I do. It's not that bras have fake nipples on them. It's that they're shaped so that the shape of the bra will make the fall of the clothes on the top look as if the woman has a nipple, because the nipple can hold the shape of.
That's ridiculous, because the nipple doesn't really do anything. It's just a protruding little thing.
No, I'll show you later. There's two different types of bra that do different shapes. But the thing is, this is about consumer choice, and even I don't shop for bras because I don't have breasts, at least not functioning ones that need support. Is that I know that these two types exist, so I know there's obviously an abundance of choice of shops that sell both the shape she's looking for.
So that's just ignorance, then, isn't it? Really?
So, have you got any words for Denise?
I think you ought to expand your horizons to try and identify and get to the shops that are selling the nipple endowed bra.
Yeah.
And really try and take it from there, because it seems as though you haven't really done your research.
I couldn't sound more condescending if you try.
You haven't done your research, and to be honest, the alternatives do exist.
Sum Denise up in one word for us.
A woman.
Okay, very, very. Okay.
That was a very safe move.
Yeah, well, it was a safe move. Museum of Making takes shape at the historic Silk Mill. With the countdown to the opening of the new Museum of Making at Derby's Silk Mill underway, it is perfect time to take a quick look around inside. Hannah Fox, 45, is project director for the Silk Mill's redevelopment and has worked through whatever. Yeah, but yeah, there's a new silk mill museum, because obviously during the Industrial Revolution, Derby was the home of silk production, and allegedly, as we found out, one of the earliest cities that gave rise to the Industrial Revolution. So, some remarks on the museum and some remarks on Derby as well, Chris.
Right. First of all, how the hell can the Industrial Revolution be attributed to its beginnings in Derby?
Because just before you carry on with that, I was aware that the micrometer, which was the first piece of measurement equipment that could allow microscopic measurements, which allowed standardisation, was invented. I don't think it was invented in Derby, was it?
Couldn't have been.
No, it was invented by the guy who invented the gun. Not invented the gun, but he developed rifling anyway.
Right. So therefore he's from Birmingham, because Birmingham has a proofing house. Birmingham's known for its proofing house. So you get gun barrels and rifles from Birmingham.
Yeah, it was the guy. Yeah, it was the guy who found out the perfect speed of rotation that a bullet needs to travel to maximise its distance and accuracy. Yeah. He was the guy that invented the micrometer, and he wasn't from Derby, as far as I know.
But the point is that they make out that Derby was somehow central to the Industrial Revolution. When the Industrial Revolution was occurring, nobody called it the Industrial Revolution. It only got that name after the
revolution.
Yeah, after the event had occurred. So you can't really say that Derby was somehow central for silk, of all things.
Well, a milling for the silk.
But how integral has silk been to the prosperity and industrialisation of Britain. It's not really.
Well, I think you could probably list three. It's a what?
It's a cottage industry.
Cottage industry.
That's been put into a factory.
A cottage industry. So you probably just think of three more important industrial things off the top of your head. I'm thinking
Steam trains.
Steam trains. Bridges. Cast iron bridges.
Yeah, so Isambard, Kingdom Brunel.
Yeah.
Stevenson's rocket.
Yeah.
For the trains. And
the elephant skin dildo from 1902. That's not really an industrial revolution thing, but it's a real thing. I can't remember. I don't know if that's the exact year, but
is that Queen Victoria's revolution?
Well, yeah.
Because Queen Victoria invented the first dildo.
Did she? I didn't know that.
Yeah, she put bumblebees in a wooden batten and inserted.
That's got to be bollocks.
Inserted it into her vagina.
What?
But she aggravated the bees so that they buzzed.
Well, why not use wasps if you want more pleasure, because they're a bit more aggressive, or use hornets?
Yeah, but it's Britain, isn't it? So it's like, we didn't have Alton Towers back then. There was not an abundance of wasps.
I've not been to Alton Towers, so I don't know about the...
There's wasps in every bin.
Oh, yeah, but it seems to be a rising problem in Britain. So... we're going to the next story, which is booze at care homes. Almost half of care workers say their care home has a bar or place where residents can drink alcohol, according to a poll.
Yeah, but that's for their pleasure, isn't it? Like, if you go to a hotel, which essentially is what it is,
with people that help you out of the bed.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's obviously more assistance than a hotel, a conventional hotel, but you should be allowed to have alcoholic drinks.
I agree.
There's nothing wrong there with having an alcoholic drink, because most older people certainly are used to having alcoholic drinks with meals and things like that.
And it's also the fact that it's a hotel that you can't really leave, because you're sort of bedbound there for a lot of residents. And also you're at an age where you don't really need to be thinking about healthy living, so if you want to enjoy yourself... you should be allowed to.
You've got to do it in the time that you've still got on the earth, yeah.
So, moving on, it's celebrity birthdays today. So we're just on some sort of small fleeting remarks about the two celebrities today whose birthday it is. One is the lovely, and I cannot stress that enough, lovely, Nigella Lawson. The other is Rowan Atkinson.
Oh, that's very interesting. Yeah, that's a very good...
There's more. Hang on, there's more. There's some I don't know who they are, but it's also Angus Dayton's birthday.
Oh, no doubt he'll be snorting a few lines of cocaine.
Still that old joke about Angus Dayton again. Anyway, yeah. So Nigella Lawson and Rowan Atkinson, because the only reason I'm asking those is because they're the ones they've bothered to put pictures of him.
Right.
And we've already sort of done Angus Dayton.
Yeah. Well,
you can also use the Angus Dayton one for Nigella Lawson as well, if you remember the trial a couple of years ago. Rowan Atkinson.
But yeah, so Nigella Lawson seems to have had a fairly brutal life, I think.
She looks good for it though.
Yeah, at the hands of her ex-partner.
Yeah.
Who was photographed strangling her.
I've not seen that photograph, but I will be trying to find that after we do this.
It's quite brutal.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it publicly available to look at?
I believe so. Yeah, because it was on the news.
Would you rather do cocaine with Angus Dayton or Nigella Lawson?
Oh, Nigella Lawson.
Okay. And so have you got any more remarks about Rowan Atkinson?
Rowan Atkinson.
Because all we seem to talk about is cocaine when it comes to Nigella Lawson.
The only thing I'd say about Rowan Atkinson is that...
We've not said anything libelous, have we?
No.
She did admit to taking cocaine, didn't she? Nigella Lawson did it. Yeah, okay.
Newspaper, it's fine.
We're remarking on it with our own conjecture, which I don't think you're allowed. Yeah, she has admitted to doing cocaine, so it's fine. It's fine.
If it's reported news, then it's fine.
It doesn't. It's not. This is reporting her birthday here, not the fact she's a cocaine addict.
Happy birthday.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, so Rowan Atkinson.
He must be making quite a bit of money on the.
He crashes a McLaren F1. But sorry, go on.
Yeah, the YouTube
idiot
side of things, because everywhere you go on YouTube, there's always a clip of Mr. Bean or Johnny English and things like that, and they're all monetized.
Also, they are like the proper channels. They're not just somebody's random upload.
It's like an official Mr. Bean channel.
Official Mr. Bean
channel. Yeah.
So some 3 celebrities here. Quotes.
Happy birthday, anyway.
Happy birthday. Yes. So quotes of the day. I'm just gonna read all 3 of them, and then you can just remark on each one, because I imagine these are quite asinine. In fact, we've got Faye Ripley, Justin Bieber, and Cheryl. What's the surname now? It's not Cole.
Vasante Orsini or something.
Jesus, you're up to date.
It's not that, but it's something along that.
Yeah. So Faye Ripley's usually pretty normal, so hers is probably going to be reasonably okay.
Just call her Cheryl last name.
Cheryl last name. So Faye Ripley first. It's often so moving I find myself hugging on trains or in the supermarket, and will sort of go, "Good luck," or "Please send your sister my love," and we'll do a selfie, and "Good luck with your treatment." That is not very... I don't even want you to comment on that, because that's just like me saying that it was a windy day today.
That sounds a bit perverted, to be honest. If she's
all she's doing is saying what she says to people at train stations.
She's hugging people.
You hug friends, and women tend to hug each other as well, but blokes don't do that, I know, but...
There's no insinuation that it is just her friends, it's just random strangers.
Right. Justin Bieber. As humans, we are imperfect. My past, my mistakes, all the things I have been through, I believe I am right where I am supposed to be, and God has me right where He wants me.
I never knew he was so Republican. To be honest.
What, in the sense of the American political party?
Yeah, in the sense that he's referencing God. I always thought that he was an arsehole.
Well, yeah, but you can be an arsehole and Christian. Look at Sinn Féin. I said it, that's my fault. I'll move on again. Well. This is becoming very sort of Irish phobic, this episode. And there's a picture of him next to a British Royal Class 44 diesel electric.
Why is his hair blonde? Because it never used to be that way, did it?
No. Anyway, Cheryl last name. It makes me want to do ballet again. It really does. It's hard. It's very hard. Dance is very hard, but I'm more than happy to get into it. There's no context for that quote.
I can think of many other things that are very hard, and many other people who want to get into it.
Right. So just as a teaser, we're going to say there's going to be a poem for the end of the episode, but we're going to carry on. Going through. I know what page it's on anyway. So, just a quote by Ronald Reagan here. It's a story about horse racing, but they've used Ronald Reagan to introduce it. So I thought we might as well quote it. Ronald Reagan said, "I've often said there is nothing better for the inside of a man than the outside of a horse." Now, that is quoted without context. Chris?
I think that is very out of context. Like, to be honest, I don't know what he was on about originally.
Well, the fact that we're both sort of grinning at the quote just shows how out of context it is, and how into context one get or how you can sort of put it in the wrong context. I suppose it's a weird one.
Well, the headline is slightly disturbing. How Glynis and her horses are helping to change lives. I can only imagine that they're changing lives for the worse, considering the quote by Reagan, which is so evidently abstract.
Well, as you can see by the photograph, I don't know if that's
a wooden horse, isn't it?
No, listen, this story is way weirder than... No, she's teaching disabled people to ride horses, and not just physically disabled. So, all I can say is riding a horse is a pretty dangerous thing, and if you're already incapacitated, do something else.
I would agree generally, because you need to be safe rather than sorry. So, to be honest, like...
Sorry. Sorry, go on.
Well, to be honest, I mean, obviously you need specialist treatment, and obviously, I'm sure the people who know about the various conditions that these people face would recognise that horse riding is perhaps not the most ideal form of recreation that these people can undertake.
Right, okay. Chocs thief is back behind bars after he stole from Asda store. A prolific shoplifter from Derby targeted the same supermarket 7 times in less than a month, just days after being released from prison. A court heard how George Day took chocolate from Asda to sell food as he found himself homeless.
Well, I don't understand what's going through his head. He's just left prison and immediately started being a criminal again.
And I don't think chocolate's the best thing to eat in terms of nutrition if you are starved and homeless.
It does sort of leave a lot to be desired in terms of the way he...
Oh, Chris, do you remember that guy we saw in Oxfam earlier? The guy who obviously doesn't do it voluntarily. Abid Atik, 30, of Dexter Street, was handed a 12-month community order with 100 hours unpaid work and told to pay £85 costs for benefit fraud in Derby between November 2017 and March 2019. Was that our man?
Derby does seem to have a lot of dubious types running their charity shops. Because when we were in one of the British Heart Foundation stores, there was that guy there who was commenting on the shirt that I'd just purchased.
What did he say? Because I didn't hear that. I was looking at the records, I think.
Yeah, he directed me towards a sign on the roof which said that it was £2. And generally he wanted to make a necessary conversation.
Right.
So...
But there's a lot of people that work in charity shops that aren't, I don't know what the PC term is, mentally all there. That, they've got learning difficulties and things like that.
Well, maybe. Ultimately, if they can do the job that they have, then that's fine. But I think it kind of crosses the line when you've got suspicious people, evidently suspicious people, who are sales advisors and cashiers at very reputable charity shops and things like that. It's not a very good image.
Even Oxfam in Haiti used to prostitute women, didn't they? So, I mean, I know this wasn't Oxfam, but...
We didn't buy anything from Oxfam. We bought everything.
No.
British Heart Foundation and Cancer Research and things like that.
Yeah, okay.
But, it's a bit strange, these kinds of people being there. And why are they there? Because they shouldn't really... If they want to be a part of society and be a contributing economic force, let's say.
Right. It's charity, but go on here.
Like a reputable
part of the community.
Member of the community with an economic potential. They shouldn't spend their entire lives just doing that. They need to be given proper paying work.
Yeah, and they could perhaps, if they're selfless sorts of people, they want to give. If they're more economically mobile, they might find it easier, and they can actually give more. Do you not think that?
Exactly. Instead of just their time rather dubiously serving behind a counter at Oxfam.
And I'm just going to lead you into this. Also, stealing all the valuable stuff that comes into the shop.
Stealing all the what?
Well, there's a long-held theory that when people donate to charity shops, people that work there take the valuable things out of the donations, sell them on eBay, and only sell the sort of unwanted rubbish.
Well, possibly, because even us two earlier on were looking at Analog magazine, and it has been sold.
What is Analog magazine for those that don't know?
It's an American sci-fi magazine from the 1960s, or at least the copies that we saw. It wasn't. It wasn't, from a charity shop. It was in a market.
Yeah, independent bookshop on a market.
Yeah, that was quite run down. But we had a look online, and it was priced correctly, unfortunately, so we couldn't make a profit on that.
So your star sign, we'll try to do this every time, by Claire Petalug. What is that?
Claire
Clear what?
Petulu Gren.
It's both the wording and the font that is the problem here.
Petulengro.
Right. That's the best we can come up with. So Chris, I'm going to read you your star sign in secret, of course, to hide the paper away. Secrets prove hard to keep. You find yourself wondering if you've gone too far. Your element of earth makes you the natural person for others to go to in a crisis. Don't abuse this. Deal instead with those whose loyalty has been lacking. Ring now to hear what difference it will make. And obviously there's a 75p per minute good number you can call.
Well, to be honest, I think that is somewhat relevant to the situation in Lichfield right now, which is that a councillor who was elected as an independent...
You're just using this as time to beef on Lichfield corruption again.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of corruption.
Fair enough.
Yeah, there's a lot of corruption that goes on. But back in May last year, there was one councillor in our particular ward who stood and won as an independent candidate, and he's basically changed his allegiance on December the 13th to the Labour Party, so the day after the
Oh, you never told me that when you told me that earlier. No, doing it the day after that is dirty. That is really that's terrible.
It was quite slimy, but I have basically
slimy.
Yeah, I have demanded on a local news forum.
Whoa!
That he ought to offer himself up for a renewal of mandate as a Labour councillor, considering the change of party election.
You've got sort of a mixed area, haven't you? Your Lichfield. It was a safe seat. It might not be worth it, but with Lichfield, it's
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly Conservative, but I think there's a lot.
There's more balance than say where I'm from in Nottingham, where it's just Labour through and through, and that's it.
Yeah, there's variance at least. Like there's Conservative.
Well, actually, no. I think the Conservatives did get hold of the council in 2015. But anyway, yeah.
There's a range of Conservative Liberals.
We said we wouldn't talk about politics on the show. We're doing it.
Yeah,
because you're using it as ranting.
It's only a brief mention. It's
okay. Be brief then.
Yeah.
How did we get there from horoscopes? I don't know.
No, because it's relevant to
the horoscope.
To whatever it is. Basically, there's Conservative, Liberal, and Labour seats, and there is a variance. So people didn't vote for a Labour candidate in the election last year. They voted 2 Conservatives and an independent, and I think that he ought to offer himself up.
Fair enough.
For a renewal of mandate.
Well, there's time to say that I've tricked you. Ha ha, Chris, that was the wrong horoscope. Because I like to do that from time to time to show that the horoscopes are bullshit and are deliberately designed to appeal to anybody, whatever they are. And I'm sure they'll just move each one of these around next week. So so whatever was in Capricorn will be in Sagittarius, and the person obviously will probably not have read the other star sign. So your actual star sign, because you are an Aries, correct?
Yes.
Drama seems to want to follow you about at the moment. Doesn't it, Aries? I don't know what that means. Some sort of rhetorical question with doesn't it, Aries? I don't know. Try not to get involved in stories which you know should not involve you. Aspects suggest you're using others' lives to not deal with your own. Ring not to find your path. And true happiness is what. So it's just ring the number again. But yeah, what are you thinking?
Isn't that just a perfect analogy to suggest that we shouldn't be doing tabloid Tuesday?
That sums it up well. We'll move swiftly on from that, as it's proven us right. And finally, Chris is ending it with a letter to the editor, which is a nice poem. So, Chris, in your own time.
This is called Blessings by D. Morley of Derby. I know I have no talents, clever I am not, yet I have many treasures. I'll tell you what I've got. I have a home, a family, a bed, our own front door. So many blessings, I couldn't ask for more. Yet many haven't one of these. They sleep against a wall, or be upon the floor. Out in all weathers, They can't count their blessings, for they have none. They move from door to doorway, often looked upon with scorn. But there are many earthly angels who move about at night. They give out bowls of soup and listen to their plight. So don't turn your nose up in disgust when you are passing by, for, as the saying goes, there but for chance can be you or I.
Right. That was okay. Also, today the Derby Telegraph went up 5 pence because not enough people are reading it. I don't know if you want to say anything about that, Chris.
It's false advertising. They should have advertised the price.
Because the front cover still says 75p. But yeah, so that's a shame people aren't reading print. And actually, I'd say for a local paper,
it doesn't really make sense because newspapers are dying off anyway.
Yeah, but this for a local paper is pretty good. There's a lot of journalism in it. It's thick as well.
Why are they pricing themselves out of the market? Why has it gone up 5 pence just for this edition?
I didn't say just for this edition.
Oh, is it permanent?
Well, I didn't say that either. It just didn't say either way.
Why is it false advertising then? If it's 80,
well, I'm pretty sure it's an error. I don't think it was deliberate to trick you.
If it's 80 pence, it should say it's 80 pence on the front. Otherwise, it's misleading.
Okay, right. So, finally, is there a group of people that you would like to dedicate this episode to?
Yes. Everybody who works at JD Wetherspoons, and most particularly Tim Martin for lowering the price of Thatcher's Gold to £2.09.
And Cronenberg 1664, thank you very much.
Out of the ruins, out from the wreckage, can't make the same mistake this time. We are the children, the last generation. We are the ones they left behind. And I wonder when we are ever gonna change. Living under the fear till nothing else remains. We don't need another hero. We don't need to know the way home. All we want is life beyond the Thunderdome. Looking for something we can rely on. There's got to be something better out there. Love and compassion. That day is coming.